What's happening, party people? Is Khalees doing too much, or is she doing just enough? She lucky she more than my favorite R&B singer, yo. Hold on. I gotta see this. We gonna put this in the bookmarks. I gotta watch this. The foolishness. Alright, where was I? Before I got rudely interrupted. Where was I?
I got racks to the ATM jam. Tell me what you wanna do. I got racks to the ATM jam. Tell me what you wanna do. You a badass bitch. That don't get swallowed in that fat ass bitch. I got racks to the ATM jam. Tell me what you wanna do. I got racks to the ATM jam. Tell me what you wanna do. I got racks to the ATM jam. Tell me what you wanna do. You a badass bitch. That don't get swallowed in that fat ass bitch. I got racks to the ATM jam. Tell me what you wanna do.
We need to sign a petition, put a petition together to get me back on TikTok.
Tell me what you wanna do. I got racks to the ATM jam. Tell me what you wanna do. You a badass bitch. That don't get swallowed in that fat ass bitch. I got
Alright, let's begin.
To the ATM jam. Tell me.
Let's get it. How is everybody doing? I'm happy to see you guys. You happy to see me? Huh? Let's go. Welcome to this multi-million dollar podcast. I'm your host, Kev Prosper, the owner and founder of Prosperity U LLC. You are tuned into Love and Money, the podcast of Prosperity U LLC. Thank you for contributing to the Cash App above, $ Prosperity U LLC. I know you see it. Thank you for visiting this website below at prosperunlimited.com. Thank you for liking, subscribing, following, and sharing. And remember, we do this every Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And remember to invest in the brand Prosperity U LLC. Build wealth, travel boldly, live royally. That's right, guys. That's right. So we got a dope, fun-filled, action-packed show tonight. And I just got a couple things I want to talk about. So let's begin. These two guys, man. Let's talk about these two guys. These guys helped build one of the greatest rap empires that I've ever seen and that I've ever been a fan of. The both of them have helped build the greatest, in my opinion, and I think in most people's opinion, the greatest rapper, dead or alive. You know what I'm saying? Let's call that spade a shovel. And they helped propel hip hop to a level that it had never seen before. You know what I mean? And we can't deny the fingerprint that they've left on hip hop, regardless of how the genre may evolve. You know what I'm saying? And so to see these guys, to hear any kind of negativity about either of them or what's going on between them, it's just like, this. It's just like, no, this. I can, map their personalities to a T. I'm not gonna do that. No. But from what I've seen and from the the minimal interviews that Jay has done and the multitude of interviews that that Dame Dash has done, I think it's safe to you can have a safe judgment of their character. I think it's safe to say. Shout outs to Jemias for tuning in on Instagram. First, the more enigmatic or secluded figure, and it's surprising that he's managed to do that. I think it suits him and benefits him to have come up in the era that he has. These guys came up in an era before technology was like that and before social media. You know what I'm saying? They had it very, very lucky. You know what I mean? And so, they came up in an era where a celebrity was valued for his talent and not for his celebrity. You know what I mean? Let's and which was very beneficial to the celebrity. You were able to have something to yourself, as they say. You know what I mean? You were able to keep something to yourself and to keep, you were able to have something to yourself. And so a person like Jay-Z who seems to be very much an introvert. Although, there is, old stories of him popping up at parties. Jamie Foxx talks about him coming to his parties all the time, and you know what I'm saying? But he would pop up at the party and then just play the wall. You know what I mean? Now Jay-Z is very candid about his past. You know what I mean? So, if I don't know if anybody remembers, if anybody's watched the show Snowfall, and when Francis was beginning his drug empire, he was making his connects. There was a scene where he pops up, he shows up to a pool party in the hills, in the suburbs and shit. He pops up to a pool party. He's the only black guy at the pool party, and then one of the girls at the pool party is like, "Oh, does he have the coke?" And they're like, "No, he's the connect." Like, no, he does not have the coke. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's going off and snapping off on people, yelling at them, smacking them, throwing things at them. You know what I mean? Which is wild. I mean, like, I don't know. It seemed like, for a long time, the music business was very much the streets. I don't know. So, like, when people are surprised that, rappers are catching indictments left and right, I'm like, why? Why are you surprised? You know what I'm saying? Like, It's kind of, you bring that energy. You bring that energy. I remember Tyrese said something like that. Tyrese was like, I sing at my shows. You know what I mean? I basically, the gist of what he was saying is, I magically disintegrate panties. You know what I mean? So my limo ain't gonna get shot up. You know what I mean? I don't bring that kind of energy to my shows. You know what I mean? So it would make sense, for Tyrese to go through what he goes through at his shows, and for a typical rapper / gangster rapper to go through what they go through at their events. You know what I mean? But yeah, so Dame is very much the fireball, so it's like a very fire and ice combo, and they were more on the forefront, whereas it's been known that Biggs was the front man, well, not the front man, he fronted everybody, you know what I'm saying, he kept the business going per se, in his own ways, you know what I mean. Things weren't always squeaky clean back in them days, you know what I mean, like you had to get it however which way you can, you know what I mean, like so yeah, all money is good money, I guess, right? unless the feds come knocking, right? But yeah, but it was it was known that it was Jay, Dame, and Biggs, but Biggs was always in the background. He wasn't the hype man, that the kind of hype man that Dame was, and it was just them two for the longest. Now, like I said, I don't know these people. I've never been knowledgeably. Maybe I've been driving next to them, but I've never been within 100 feet of these men. I don't know them at all. Please do not take this and run with it. I don't know what I'm talking about. But I do believe that these that the feud, the ongoing damn near 20-year feud that these men have been going through is not over business. I do believe business is personal to a degree, and that is simply because you're dealing with people. So how can it not be personal to some extent? You know what I mean? Yeah, there is a line you draw where, yes, it becomes personal, and then there's a line you draw where it's not personal. But it's hard to do business with someone who's close to you. You know what I mean? And who's close to you and can hurt you in many ways, or has hurt you in many ways. It's just hard to do business with somebody like that. Whether they're keeping it business and you're keeping it business or not. You know what I mean? It's just hard to do business with somebody like that. So it's understandable. It's understandable why they would part ways. But even though, and I think the main reason this feud that these guys are having is still so up in the air is simply because Jay won't talk. As soon as Jay starts talking and starts airing it out and telling his side of the story, then you know what I'm saying, it'll be squashed. It'll be over with, you know what I mean? And we can all be happily ever after. But Jay is gonna leave it in the air. He's gonna stay in his bubble, and enjoy his wife and kids, and continually make his money however which way he's making his billions. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he intends to keep it that way for as long as he can. Now he did clap back hard when he saw the little Tony Busby shakedown. He like he said, "Hold my jacket, dog. Hold my jacket." What we doing? What's up? What we doing? Is this what it's come to? I was like, oh, he in album mode right about now. Let's go. I'm waiting for the bars. But then again, Jay does do his talking and his lyrics, because that's what we've known him for. We don't know him for doing interviews. We know him for doing lyrics, right? And so that's so he does a lot of the talking in his lyrics. But however, in the his last album was 444, and that hasn't come out since 2000. That's been since 2018, like a couple years before COVID. You know what I mean? He addressed like there's a lot of people who are disgruntled with Jay-Z's success. I watched a DeHaven interview, and DeHaven talked about his drug dealing days with Jay-Z, and how he kind of like he put Jay-Z on, and Jay-Z admits to that in his music. You know what I mean? He put Jay-Z on. He covered him in a lot of ways, and backed him up. It's still hard to pinpoint what DeHaven is upset about, because when DeHaven talks about his history with Jay-Z back in them days, it's very much like Jay-Z wasn't perpetrating. He's not a gangster. He's a hustler. You know what I mean? I think not everybody in the streets is a gangster. I do believe that. You know what I mean? I do believe. There's people who are about their money, and then there's people who are about that violence. It is what it is. And then there's people, who are about their money, but will do it if will do the violence if it has to come down to it. Maybe not. Jay may or may not strike me as that person. I don't know. I wasn't there. Statute of limitations. Leave me out of it. But yeah, DeHaven. It's still hard. It's very difficult to pinpoint. I mean, I think DeHaven's gripe with Jay was about how Jay, kind of left him hanging at the courts, maybe in the Fed in his Fed trial or something like that. But when people blueprint, pun intended, right? Blueprint Jay-Z blueprint. When people blueprint Jay-Z's success, it has a very much of a negative connotation. I do believe that Jay-Z's success is very Machiavellian in a sense, whereas like as they describe, he uses people as stepping stones. You know what I mean? And he's done this all throughout the 90s. He's done this pretty much throughout his entire life. Of course, DeHaven, his tenure with DeHaven in the streets was one of them. From what's been described, where he used DeHaven to mentor him into the streets until he could promote himself, pretty much, right? And then he got with Dame, from the stories that I've heard, DJ Clark Kent reached out to him, and say, hey, yo, put that money down, put that bag down, and come get this bag. You're a really talented guy. And it probably took a lot for Jay to do that. You know what I mean? He used Jazzo as a stepping stone, kind of piggybacking his name and whatnot. You know what I mean? Like when people describe his success, it's always on the backs of somebody else. You know what I mean? And he just ladders his way up. But then at the end of the day, like Jazzo says it all the time, like he don't owe me nothing. You know what I mean? It was up to me to my success is up to me. And just because he rode my back with it, there's some people, there's like Jazzo is one of those people, one of them stand-up guys who don't necessarily look at it the way everybody else do. You know what I mean? You could understand why maybe DeHaven would be upset. You could understand why, XYZ would be upset, X person and Y person would be upset. But then at the end of the day, it's like, what does he owe anybody? And he says that, what Jay says that in his lyrics. I don't owe nobody shit. You know what I mean? Yeah, but that's important for men to understand. This is a man's conversation. I do believe. You know what I'm saying? This is very much a man's conversation. It's important for men to understand that don't nobody owe you nothing. Like, don't nobody owe you nothing. With an F, nothing. You know what I mean? Like you gotta get up and like Outkast said, you gotta get up, get out, and get something. You know what I'm saying? I remember a Nas lyric where Nas was like, how you hating on the next man to make you rich? If he giving you money, he deserve that head you get, and he deserve your bitch. Like, yo. What? Crazy. But it's a good point. You know, I mean, like, like, yeah, you can't live life holding your hand out. You can't live life with a handout. You know what I mean? You gotta get it up out the mud. And I feel like this is where Jay and Dame is at with it right now. You know what I mean? There's a lot of pride, it's a lot of ego. Oh, but let me get to what I think the real breakup is. And I've said this before on this show. But I want to get to what I think the real breakup is. The real break now, okay, there's pictures of Jay holding hands with Aaliyah. Right? There's pictures of Jay holding hands with Aaliyah. Then you see pictures in the late 90s when Aaliyah was still alive. You see pictures of Dame Dash holding hands with Aaliyah. Yo, what's going on? What is this? Yo, what's going on? I don't get it. But okay. And so I remember I was watching an interview. The guy Choke No Joke. He's one of those like fearless kind of guys. Like he'll say what needs to be said. He's not like a shock jock, but like he don't care about the repercussions. Like he'll tell the truth because he knows it's the truth, not because of he wants something to happen or you know what I'm saying. And he said Dame is the type of nigga that get a kick out of. Now, first of all, I want to say this about golden era hip hop, late 90s, early 2000s hip hop. Like let's lay this game down quite flat. It was a very chauvinistic era. It was a very chauvinistic macho era. First of all, we had gangster rap in the late 80s, right? We had gangster rap in the late 80s. We know everything that come with gangster rap, from the NWA album to the Snoop Dogg album. We knew everything that came with that. The costume that was gangster rap. And from the late 80s to the early 90s. We saw that, right? Then from the early 90s to the mid 90s, you had the Wu-Tang era. This was my hip hop experience, right? You had the Wu-Tang era, right? Where it was all about grunginess, griminess, grittiness, Tim's, baggy everything. You know what I'm saying? Like out the wazoo, Tommy Hilfiger polo, all that, right? You had that. Rugby's every day, hockey jerseys every day. You know what I mean? It was all of that. You know what I'm saying? North Faces, gold fronts, razors in the mouth. That was the era I grew up in. You know what I'm saying? If you know, you know. Then came the shiny suits with Puffy in them, right? can't stop, won't stop. Rollie on the wrist, diamonds in the air. Pop your bottles. This is a trip down memory lane for real, for real. Right? That was the shiny suit era. This is the late 90s and the 2000s. So now like rappers and rap labels are getting money hand over fist at this point. This is before Napster. This is before MP3s. This is before streaming. You know what I'm saying? It was just money straight up. You was counting album sales, raw album sales at the cash register. You know what I'm saying? All day long, straight up. You know what I mean? And you know, a lot of rappers, you know, when you have fame, there's nothing worse than fame and money. Like, no. Terrible. There's nothing worse than fame and money. How's my sound doing? Let me see how my sound is. Hold on, let me see how my sound is. I should have did that before testing 1 2. Oh, I sound good. All right, cool beans. Yeah, so what was I saying? Yeah, you know, there's nothing worse than fame plus money. That's a hell of a drug. You know what I'm saying? More than crack and coke combined. You know what I'm saying? But you know, you will always hear stories. You will hear people talk about, you know, oh, the music industry this and the music industry that. Oh, it's just terrible. Just oh. You know what I mean? And you know, you would see these moguls at the top. You know what I'm saying? And they would present this image like they, you know, like they really got it going on. And in a lot of ways, they did. You know what I mean? And they inspired a lot of these Instagram scammers and grifters. You know what I'm saying? They inspired a lot of them. And you know, they would talk about it in their music all the time about, you know, buying chicks bottles, going on shopping sprees. What's the song? No more shopping sprees, no more VIPs. Right? Remember that shit? And so they would talk about it all the time in their music. You know what I mean? About how much, you know, they'll treat a woman and they'll take your girl, and it was always about taking your girl. It was always about wow, what the fuck is it? What is it about taking somebody's girl? Like, I don't get it. But yeah, that was the thing. That was the thing. What better way to stunt and flaunt your money and your status and your power and your macho than to steal someone else's girl, right? Like that was always a thing. Now it's been like that from the beginning of time, since humanity began, right? It's always been that way. But this is, once again, like hip hop knows how to do best, to glorify it and exemplify it and accentuate it and romanticize it, right? This is where hip hop does best. You know what I mean? So when you take a person, like you take someone whose success seems damn near automatic, but it's very calculated, like Jay-Z, and then someone whose success is very persevering and very Bogard, like Dame Dash. You know what I mean? You create pretty much a two-headed monster. You know what I mean? Like it's like they said in the movie, in the movie they made, get down or lay down. You know what I mean? I can only imagine what being around someone like Dame Dash was like when Rockefeller was the hottest thing on earth. You know what I mean? I can only imagine what women were like, the dainty morsels that women were to him. You know what I'm saying? Guys like him and guys like Puffy. You know what I mean? Now what I do You know, Puffy was very much, as far as the spotlight is concerned, as far as show business is concerned, Puffy was very much a persona. He was very much a caricature. You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, and of course he had the money to back it up. You know what I mean? It is what it is. But he was very much a caricature. Obviously, we see that now. You know what I mean? With this whole trial going on. You know what I mean? But what I do respect about Dame, he emphasizes it and expresses it a lot. He's all about morals and principles. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you know how he is with girls. He might be disrespectful to women, or he was disrespectful to women back in the day. It is what it is. Shout out to K Nicole. Welcome. Thank you for tuning in. Welcome. But yeah, he might have been disrespectful to women back then. And then, you know, everybody talks about him pouring the champagne on the girl in the video. Maybe the girl liked it. You know what I'm saying? Listen, she's in a 2-piece on a yacht, you know what I'm saying, without a care in the world, and nothing but millionaires around her. She probably liked it. I mean, like, hey, leave it to Beaver. Nobody considers that though. But anyway, but he always stands on principles and morals and rules, and you know, rules of the game and the streets, and so on and so forth. He stands on that a lot, you know. And so for him to be in interview after interview, but and then you know, the media is gonna media. Right? The media is gonna media. And so yeah, you know, Jay ain't talking, so you talking, so let's talk about Jay. Right? Let's do it. And it's understandable his frustration. You know what I'm saying? It's understandable his frustration. But you the only one talking. You the only one interviewing. Jay don't do interviews. Like and like he's in a position where he don't have to do interviews. He don't need the media and the publicity and the press. He's in a boss position right now. Like, when the last time he put an album out? Come on, son. You know, I mean, and then, but then again, Jay is probably in that Andre 3000 crossroad. Like, you know, if I drop right now, are they still gonna feel me? Does it still sound the same? Do I still sound the same? Are my bars still connecting like they used to connect? Like, I don't know, or like he probably still raps the same. You know what I'm saying? But is his style palatable for this younger generation, or for you know, or for the current listener, pretty much? You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of grown folks who still listen to young music still. Like so, there's people from my era who listen to music, and I'm just like, yo, you didn't grow up like I grew up. You didn't grow up on the music I grew up in, and you vibing to this. You know what I mean? Like, what? Who made you? But yeah, that's the type of time some people are on. You know, so but yeah, you know, Jay is pretty much, you know, playing the boss right now. I remember when the whole NFL thing came, they had the little NFL press conference thing, and you know, Jay tried to he sat there with Roger Goodell and tried to make it a political thing, and really all he was doing was just hooking up the Super Bowl. like let's keep it a bean. And that's perfectly fine. Everybody love a good show. You know what I mean? But like he made it seem more serious than it was, because it was on the back of the whole Colin Kaepernick situation. And I'm pretty sure that the conference was Roger Goodell's idea. Probably he was trying to, you know, when 90% of your employees are African Americans, right? You want to do right by your people, right? You know, that would be the smart thing to do, right? So yeah, that's probably Roger Goodell's idea. But someone like Dame, you know, who's very brash, very direct, very, you know, just outright disrespectful in many cases, does profess standing on principles and whatnot. And so when you have someone like that standing on morals and principles, but then someone who's more introverted and secluded like Jay-Z, you know, it's kind of odd why they would break up, right? But then the Choke No Joke guy, he talks about how you know, Dame was the kind of, like, you know, I painted a nice pretty picture, right? And you know, Dame was the kind of guy, and in his height, you know, in his height of the fame and the money, where he would get a kick out of fucking niggas' girls. He would get a kick out of it. That was a kink for him. That was his thing. You know what I'm saying? He would do the reverse cuckold. And so to see pictures of Aaliyah holding hands with Jay-Z, and then turn around and seeing pictures of Aaliyah holding hands with Dame Dash, and then, you know, Choke No Joke saying what he said, and then he also mentioned that, you know, Dame was trying to push up on Beyonce. Like, I heard it. I don't know if anybody else heard it. He said it. You know what I'm saying? And looking at that trajectory, it sounds believable. It sounds very believable. So now, if Dame is pushing up on Beyonce, and Jay, and then, but then again, Dame mentioned that Jay was he was the type of he took some girl from him. Dame ain't say which. He took some girl from him, right? So it's like chicken or the egg. Who took whose girl? Did Dame take Aaliyah from Jay, or did Jay take Aaliyah from Dame? Did Dame take Beyonce from Jay, or did Jay take Beyonce from Dame? Who do we believe, right? Who do we believe? So this breakup, as peculiar and untold as much of that story may be, most guys can understand that it's over a woman, or it's over women, period. It's over some pussy. let's call a spade a shovel. You know what I'm saying? I think that's safe to say. And you know, and maybe one of them, maybe one of them had their last straw. But here's what's happening now. Now I don't know what's going on, but I'm hearing about how Dame is struggling. I don't know. Dame didn't say he was struggling, and I don't think Dame is the type of person. I think he's too proud to say he was struggling if he was. You know what I'm saying? But you know, supposedly Dame is struggling, and people are wondering why Jay-Z won't look out for him. Right? First of all, the man told you years ago, I don't owe nobody shit. He told you that years ago. I don't owe nobody shit. I made my way hustling, right? But then again, can he really say that? Can he really say that? Would he be? Well, first of all, I think for anybody, your success is predicated on all of the people who helped you in your past. Let's keep that a beam. Your success is predicated on, you know what I'm saying, the auntie that slid you a $20 bill, you know what I'm saying, when you needed some gas money or you needed some bus fare money. You wouldn't be the thousandaire that you are today without her. Let's keep that a beam, right? So whether it's DeHaven, whether it's Dame, whether it's Foxy, whether it's Irv Gotti and Ja Rule, whether it's all the people, or whether it's DMX, all the people that came up with Jay and who he collabed with and partnered with and worked with, You know what I'm saying? To give him that extra edge. Whether even marrying Beyonce. Like, come on, like let's keep it a bean. Like, Beyonce is contributed to his success. You know what I mean? Just him marrying her, that alone, you know? So can Jay afford to say that he doesn't owe anybody anything? In a way he can, and in a way he can't. Of course, right? And I think that's anybody. That's anybody and anybody who's successful, really. But for the most part, if there's anybody who was close to him at one point in time, and not to mention Jazzo as well, but anybody who's close to him at one point in time that brought him to the notoriety and the fame, that helped bring him to the notoriety and the fame that he is now, is very much Dame Dash. You know what I'm saying? And so yeah, does Jay owe Dame anything? He could say no. And at the same time, he could say yes. You know what I mean? But if it's over a bitch, if it's over some pussy, you know what I'm saying? If it's over a chick, it's fully understandable. It's fully understandable. I do believe bygones can be bygones, but that don't mean things is gonna be, you know, one way and not the other. Like, no, I don't think so. Like, I do believe a person does have a right to cut somebody off forever. You know what I mean? Like people are gonna people, and it's best for you to maintain your health, your sanity, and all that good shit. You know what I'm saying? And so it's probably, if it's in his spirit to help Dame out, put him in a position or slide him some bread or whatever the case, whatever piece of success he can share with Dame. You know what I'm saying? If he has that, what they call an unction in his spirit, then so be it. But if he and then, like, does Dame have an unction in his spirit to reach out there? I'm pretty sure if Dame wanted to reach I'm pretty sure if Dame wanted to reach out to Jay, it wouldn't be hard. It wouldn't be hard. I'm pretty sure he has, even if he don't have a direct line to Jay, I'm pretty sure he could reach out to somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody. Not even that many degrees of separation. I'm pretty sure he could reach out to one or two people to get to him, to get him to call him back. At least call him back. I'm pretty sure of it. Yeah. And like I said, I do believe that Dame is way too proud to do any of that. I do believe he's way too proud to do any of that. Even if he's hurting, if he's really struggling for real, as they say they are, like the media says he is. I do believe they're way too proud. He's way too proud. He's way too proud to say he's struggling. He's way too proud to say he's taking an L. I think the only time he's ever been candid about taking L's is when he's going to family court, like most men. Like most men, that's the one L he can admit taking is his family court L, right? Woo! I can laugh about it now. Yo. But yeah. At the end of the day, they don't owe each other anything. You know, they work together. They didn't work for it. It's not like they worked for each other. None of them took a handout. And you know, we just hope that they can work it on out. I don't hope that they can work it on out. I hope that if Dame is struggling, I hope that he can get out of his own way and put himself and then humble himself at his big age. You know what I'm saying? Humble himself to whereas he can begin to collaborate and cooperate to some degree and partner with people and become a likable person. I hope he can put himself mature himself in a way, you know what I'm saying, whereas he can become a likable person. But for somebody like him who's been the way he has been for so long, because he's been allowed to be that way for so long, so he's very set in his ways. You know what I mean? So I that's my biggest thing. Fuck fighting over a bitch, or being mad, or holding grudges about or just cutting you off and saying we not fucking with you no more because over a bitch, right? Fuck all of that. Just your ego, bro. Your ego. You know what I mean? And I do believe because of his he's masterminded a lot of other people's success. You know what I'm saying? But that ego though, you know what I'm saying? Pride comes before the fall, Dame. Like really, pride comes before the fall. And I do wish that yes, you can still be the boss, you can still own everything and front the money, and you know what I'm saying, and they'll bring it right back and all that good shit. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying, tone that down a little bit and say, hey, okay, how can we work together? You know what I mean? Okay, you know what? You can I'll front the money, I can be the boss, but you can be the boss too. You know what I mean? Like and and on that level, you know what I'm saying, it's maybe it's over my head, but I do believe that there's a world where businesses and corporations and executive people, you know what I'm saying, can look at his acumen and his shrewdness and his creativity and say, wow, this guy's intellectual property is marketable, and he has his personality supersedes his reputation. He's come around the corner. You know what I'm saying? He's come around, and his personality is not manageable. That's a terrible word for someone like Dame Dash. But his personality is approachable. You know what I'm saying? As far as doing business with, I do believe you don't have to like somebody to do business with them, but you do have to be able to work with them to do business with them. You know what I'm saying? I do believe that. Shout out to Charismatic Opal, y'all. Welcome. But yeah, at the end of the day, I do believe. I do hope. I think that's the biggest thing. Dame needs to be approachable. He needs to step outside of his ego. You know what I mean? And then just. And I know the internet is gonna tear you apart. They're gonna make a field day of you. You know what I'm saying? And you can't let them see the chinks in the armor. You can't let them see you bleed. I get it. But bro, pride come before the fall, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like it's bad enough. It's bad enough. You got missing teeth. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm just praying that I'm healthy. Like I'm very humble about my health. You know what I'm saying? I'm not getting any younger either. But dang, like, come on, son. Pride come before the fall. And let this be a cautionary tale. That's enough of that. I think this was a good show. I think this was a guy's show. The guys can relate to this talk. The fellas can relate to this. All two of them who viewing my show right now. But I want to thank each and every last one of you guys for tuning in to this multi-million-dollar podcast. I want to thank each and every one of you. I'm Kev Prosper, the owner and founder of Prosperity U LLC. You are tuned into Love and Money, the podcast of Prosperity U LLC. Thank you for contributing to the Cash App above, $ Prosperity U LLC. I know you see it. I know you see it. Thank you for visiting the website below at prosperunlimited.com. Thank you for liking, subscribing, following, and sharing. Remember, we do this every Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And remember to invest in the brand Prosperity U LLC. Build wealth, travel boldly, live royally. All right, I will see you guys next week. Bye.
Be sure to shop Amazon with Prosperity U LLC. Link in the description.
These are all of my books. My very first book, Lead the Fairy Tales Up to Disney, The Reality of Dating. Haunted Truths, a romance murder mystery set in the heart of Brooklyn during the 1980s, during the height of the crack era. Switch, my romantic comedy. My trilogy, Spirit of the Machine, 1, 2, and 3, sci-fi action thriller. My poem anthology, Red Garden. That is System of the Sun. That's my book on organizational skills. Don't wait till I get rich to buy that book. New Shoes. That's my book on self-esteem, on how to love yourself. Ratchetology. Yes, I'm the ratchetologist. Take my advice. Visit prosperunlimited.com and click travel to book your next vacation.
Ha. Hey yo P, do that freaky jam on the beat. Shitty with that butter shit that bone feed. Did you double do that song thing? Flicky with some butter so that bone thing. If you cheeky cheddar check, I get her own cheese. It's a chicken with that head or this a bitch that won't be with the official with that whole sleeve. Like these heat head the wish that with that long.
I got racks at ATM jam. Tell me what you wanna do. I got racks at ATM jam. Tell me what you wanna do. You a badass bitch. If I don't get swallowed in that fat ass bitch, I got racks at ATM jam. Tell me what you wanna do. I got racks at ATM jam. Tell me what you wanna do. I got.
Be sure to shop Amazon with Prosperity U LLC.